It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update, as the ratings are in for AEW Rampage, The First Dance. CM Punk calls his AEW debut the greatest night in his career, and is Adam Cole set to sign for All Elite Wrestling? All that and more coming up in today's video, but first... As we discussed in a video earlier today, CM Punk broke the record of most shirts sold in the first 24 hours on Pro Wrestling Tees following his debut in AEW. Punk's Best in the World t-shirt was so popular that it crashed the site and left many fans waiting until the next day to be able to get their hands on it. Pro Wrestling Tees have just announced another broken record, as the shirt is now the single highest selling t-shirt in the site's history, a record previously held by the Bone Soldier Bullet Club t-shirt. The ever popular design has sat at the top of the sales records for the last 7 years, and it took Punk a mere 72 hours to dethrone it. This is an absolutely huge feat and should end any doubts over how much Punk can move the needle for AEW. It took him 2 days to sell more t-shirts than Bullet Club have in the last 7 years, and we all know how popular that shirt is. That is just crazy. This weekend, Bandito retained his Ring of Honor World Championship when he defeated Flip Gordon on the first night of the Glory by Honor pay-per-view. His next defense was announced on the next night, and he's going to face 3 challenges in an elimination match at Death Before Dishonor on September 12th. The 4-way will see Bandito take on Brody King, EC3, and Demonic Flamita inside the ECW Arena, which is now known as the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It was also announced that a match will take place between 2 recently released WWE stars, although the names haven't been confirmed at this point. I have a feeling that Bobby Fish may be one of them, who has a long history in Ring of Honor. Fish was released from WWE on August 6th, and his non-compete clause ends 1 week before the show. And speaking of title matches, a new #1 contender has been named for the Impact World Championship after Saturday's Impact Emergence event. Ace Austin managed to overcome Moose, Sami Callihan, and Chris Sabin in a 4-way match to earn a shot at Christian Cage at the upcoming Victory Road pay-per-view on September 18th. Austin is a 2-time X Division champion and has risen quickly since his 2019 debut in the promotion. He will battle Impact World Champion Christian, who is coming off the back of a win over Brian Myers at the Emergence event, who won via a kill switch later on in the night. This will be the first ever match between the two, with Ace debuting in wrestling after Christian's 2014 retirement. And speaking of Impact Wrestling, the CEO of their parent company Anthem took to Twitter today to tease a big incoming distribution deal. Leonard Asper revealed that he's pumped for the announcement and said, "Hey y'all, I am here. Was busy trying to keep up with Impact Wrestling launching so many new channel streams and products. Getting pumped, thank you for watching in insanely increasing numbers. Big new distribution deal coming soon." There is no word on who this new partner will be, or if it will replace their current weekly slot on Access TV. In the US, Impact typically draws around 100,000 average viewers, and recently hit an all-time low for their weekly show. It will be interesting to see what this new deal entails, and how it may affect Impact's reach going forward. And I'll keep my ear to the ground for any updates moving forward. Now let's get to the ratings for AEW Rampage, The First Dance, which saw the much anticipated AEW debut of CM Punk. The show drew 1.129 million viewers on average, which is a huge 52.57% increase from last week's Rampage premiere, which managed 740,000. The First Dance also drew a 0.53 rating in the key demo, which is up an even more impressive 76.6% from last week. This means that roughly 692,000 people tuned in between the ages of 18 to 49, which is the second highest demo rating in AEW television history, only topped by the debut episode of AEW Dynamite. And this is huge news for AEW and shows how impactful CM Punk's signing may be for the company. What makes this demo rating even more impressive is the fact that the show aired at 10 PM Eastern, a time slot that often Eastern naturally draws less viewers due to it being later in the night, with less people watching TV at that time. And for whatever reason, less people watch TV on a Friday too. The news that their demo rating has topped almost every AEW television show in history cannot be slept on. This makes me think that if the first dance was an episode of AEW Dynamite in the usual time slot of 8 PM Eastern, then this would have likely been the highest rated episode of Dynamite in every single regard. Take this with a pinch of salt, but if you increase last week's AEW Dynamite overall viewership by 52.57%, and that's the increase from last week's Rampage to this week's Rampage, that would be roughly 1.5 million viewers, which indeed would top that first episode of Dynamite. Now, the next indicator of Punk's drawing power will be this Wednesday, when we see how many viewers tune in to see his first AEW Dynamite appearance. As always, we'll bring you those numbers later this week, likely on Thursday night. And quickly, just before we continue, make sure you drop a like on the video as it helps me out a lot, and make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss any upcoming wrestling content as we head, hopefully, towards 100,000 subscribers. But now, let's press play on the video. CM Punk today appeared on ESPN Chicago's Cap and J radio show to discuss his AEW debut, their fans, and his all-out opponent, Darby Allin. Punk revealed that his AEW debut was the greatest night of his career and said it couldn't have been any more perfect. He said, "I was discussing this with a couple of my friends. That might have been the greatest moment, the greatest night of my career. Just the entire night couldn't have been more perfect. The way we set it up as the worst kept secret, man, selling out the United Center on the rumor that I was going to be there, never announced, never advertised, it shows the connection to the fan base that AEW has, that they get it. They wanted to be involved, they want to be entertained, they want to go to shows and have a good time. So we didn't feel the need to beat them over the head to get a TV rating. And don't get me wrong, I know executives at TNT love their ratings, but to me, pro wrestling has always been about moments and getting people to feel something. It was the perfect storm, the perfect night." Punk's first match in AEW is set for September 5th, where he will take on Darby Allin in his first match since Royal Rumble 2014. Punk praised Darby's in-ring work and discussed how he is preparing for his first match in over 7 years, and added, "I think it's a lot of, can Punk still go? Can Punk still wrestle in the ring? Can he be entertaining? Fortunately for me, I was never a guy who did a whole bunch of crazy flips and stuff like that, so I don't have to go back and try and do these amazing athletic feats. My goal is to tell a story." And the way I get ready for this is to watch a lot of Darby Allin matches. It's not different than a sports team watching tape on the team that they're playing. I watch him and see what he can do, and then I get creative about it, and that's how I get ready. Obviously, I'm in a television show that's called Heels, that's on the Stars Network. I've been in the ring, we're filming wrestling. I have gotten in the ring and I have been training, but not super extensively because it beats your body up. So I'm trying to be smart about it, but mostly just watching tape on him, and I'm impressed by what I see. It's certainly going to be interesting to see how Punk's style mixes with Darby's fast-paced offense, especially now that he's 7 years older, and it might be difficult to keep up with him. If there's anyone that can test Punk and keep him on his toes, it's Darby Allin. And finally, we have an update regarding Adam Cole and his WWE contract, which is set to expire at any moment. Cole signed a short extension last month to see him through to last night's NXT TakeOver 36 show, where he lost to former Undisputed Era stablemate Kyle O'Reilly. WWE want Cole to re-sign and have even offered him a spot on the main roster in order to convince him to stay after a one-on-one meeting with Vince McMahon. In an update from Fightful, Cole has still not signed a new WWE deal as of yet, leaving his future very much up in the air. It should also be noted that there are no plans for Cole to be in attendance or play any part in tonight's Monday Night Raw episode. There has been said to be interest from AEW, where Cole's girlfriend Britt Baker and his friends in the Elite currently reside, with Cole being a former member of the Elite during its time as a sub-faction of the Bullet Club, and he was also a regular character on the Being the Elite show until Cole signed with WWE in 2000. 2017. Cole was then killed off in a comedic skit. Britt Baker has now fueled rumors of an AEW move after simply tweeting "Baby," whilst the Young Bucks have changed their Twitter bio to a YouTube link that takes you to a video titled "The Most Infamous Seances in History." For those unaware, a seance is a ceremony which sees the participants attempt to contact the dead. The bio could be a hint that the Elite could reach out to Adam Cole's spirit, perhaps for a gag on being the Elite. Either way, there is still no official confirmation on the future of Cole, but it seems at least that his days in NXT are over, as he will either move up to the main roster or make the jump to become All Elite. He could no doubt slot right back into the Elite faction, perhaps leading into AEW All Out on September 5th. And as always, we'll keep you updated on the situation should any further news break. And before you go, make sure you check out my video where I discuss the secret wrestling returns of CM Punk during his so-called retirement.